Hi everyone, before we begin with our worksheet, let's run through a quick material check. So we need a pencil, eraser, sharpener to sharpen our pencil, and a fine liner pen or a sketch pen to outline our artwork. If you don't have a fine liner pen and a sketch pen, you can always use your black color pencil, but make sure it is sharp enough. Before we begin, please make sure to write your name and your teacher's name so that we know it is you and not anyone else. Now let's start creating the characters with different emotions. So you all remember that we have already done characters using different emotions and we have practiced it. But how do we do that when we are creating our own characters? Let's learn through this worksheet too. Here we have a cute dog with different emotions and expressions. So in order to draw the dog, what I'm doing is I'm first drawing an oval shape and creating a petal shape for the dog's ears and two curved lines for the neck. So for all the dog faces, we are going to use the same shapes and the same methods to draw it. But here we are only changing the emotions of the dog. So once you can see here, I'm almost done with the sketch of the dog. Now I'm getting into the details of the dog's body and the ears, the shadings which we have to add, the darker lines and the curves inside the ears. So we will add those details first and then we will move on to the expression of the dog. So here the dog is shocked. So it is pretty hard to show the expression on the character's face, but it's all about your character and what is the emotional state of your character. So there are three ways to show emotion in a character. So the first one is what the character observes in others. So you have to concentrate on the character which is observed by others. And the second point which you have to keep in your mind is what the character senses in his own body. Suppose the dog is shocked or surprised or happy or hurt or crying or in pain. So all these senses in his own body. So you have to identify that and that will be helpful to show the emotion of the character. And the third point which you have to keep in your mind is what you have to show from outside the character's direct perspective. So what you want your character to be, so that you have to create an emotion for. So here it was quite easy, the sketch is quite easier. We created two squares for the specs which the dog is wearing, and for the eyes there is no much details, it is just a small circle and we are just filling in the circle and we are creating the eyebrows using a small curve. And for the nose, we elongated the nose by using a U shape and then we added a mouth. So isn't that looking cute? And also we can make out what the dog's expression is. We don't need any dialogue box to say that, isn't it? So your character and the emotion inside the character has to speak a lot, has to speak more in your book. So in the same way, we are keeping the same character and showing different emotions. Always make sure whenever you create a character, you should be able to create that character with different angles, different postures, different emotions, and different directions. And in all the ways, the character should look the same. It should not be different. So as we are creating a dog here, I'll take the example of the dog. So here in the first image, the dog is shocked and we have created the ears and the mouth and the nose, everything. And in the second character, the dog is just staring at someone. So that doesn't mean that we will change the dog's entire posture. So the ears and the neck and the length of the dog, everything remains the same and the face shape also remains the same. It's just that you will add a different emotion to the face. Make sure whenever you're drawing using your pencil, please draw it light as possible. If you are pressurizing the pencil and if you're drawing, then there will be lots of pencil marks which could be seen on your sheet, and it will be very hard for you to erase it later, and that creates the pencil marks and make the artwork look untidy. So please avoid that. So here we first created the specs and the nose, and then inside the specs we are creating the eyes. So for the eyes I'm creating a half circle, and then inside that half circle I'm creating a small dot. So make sure you're doing it with me, because I'm doing it very slowly so that you people can do it with me. Now let's correct the ears and give the lines and the shapes inside the ear. Also, one more tips if I want to give you to create the emotions of the characters is the body language. Suppose, think that you're angry on someone, or you're hurt by someone, or you're so excited. How would your body react to that feeling? So if you're happy, you will be showing that excitement and you will be jumping around, and you will not be on the floor. You'll be flying in the sky. So that kind of excitement is your body language, and you can add that body language to your character to show the expression. Now I'm creating the third emotion of the dog, which is sad. And again, observe here, I'm not changing the shape of the face, neck, and the ears. Everything remains the same except the emotion. And also, posture matters a lot when you're creating different emotions, because you won't sit or stand in the same way when your emotions differ. When you're angry, you will sit or stand or walk in a different way. When you're happy, you will jump around, you'll walk around, you'll be excited, you'll be having that wide smile on your face. But when you're sad, you'll be sitting at one corner saying something and thinking about something, your eyes will be swollen. It will be like that, isn't it? The postures change according to your emotion. So you have to imagine yourself in that particular emotion, and you can grab these postures and the body language of yours and then implement it on your character. Even for the third character, which is the sad dog, I created the face, the oval shape first, and then I added two squares for the specs, and then the nose. And now I'm creating the eyes by just adding a line and a curve. Now once it's done, I will go to the detailings of the ears. Isn't it fun to create the characters like this? It's not only the dog character, you can also create your own character, or take a reference of some particular favorite character of your cartoon and then create different emotions for that. So now let's move on to the next character which we're going to design. And remember, I will be creating one more character for you, and you will be doing the rest 3 of the characters on your own. Okay, I believe that all my students are good enough to create their own characters. So now I'm creating the next character, which is a depressed dog. Can you see here? The dog is too depressed and going somewhere all alone. So in order to do that, I made a circle first and then I added one ear because here the dog is in side face. So the position is from the side angle. So you have to remember that you can add only one eye, one eyebrows and one ear, and the second ear has to be slightly visible because it will be covered up by the other end. Now I'm adding the nose and a curve for the mouth, and now I'll make the neck. So if you observe all the 4 characters which I have drawn, all the 4 looks exactly the same with different emotions. So I have given you some tips and tricks wherein you can create the same character with different emotions or a different character and different emotions as well. So I hope you will definitely try this out and create your own character as well. Let's see who's going to do that and send us through Google Classroom. I'll be waiting for that. I'm just making the slight changes and the updations there. So now we are done with creating the 4 characters. So now I'll leave the rest 3 characters for you to do the same, and this is what it looks like. Hope you have enjoyed this worksheet, and remember, art is always a good start.